Somewhere right now, inside the systems of companies like Nvidia, Samsung, Cisco, and even the London Stock Exchange, there might be a stolen key sitting quietly in the hands of a hacker. Not a physical key, a digital one. The kind that opens cloud servers, source code, and company secrets. And the wild part is, most of these companies may not even know it yet. This is the story of what security researchers are now calling one of the largest AI supply chain breaches of 2026, and it did not happen because of some genius hacking scheme. It happened because of a single tool almost every AI development team quietly relies on. Let's rewind to March 2026. A threat actor group known as Team PCP set their sights on a piece of software called Light LLM. If you're not deep into the tech world, Light LLM is not something you would have heard of, but inside the AI industry, it is everywhere. It is an open source connector that lets companies plug their applications into different AI models. Think of it as a universal adapter. Instead of writing custom code every time a company wants to connect you to an AI system, developers just use Light LLM to handle the wiring behind the scenes. It is fast, it is convenient, and thousands of companies around the world have quietly built it into their infrastructure without a second thought. That convenience is exactly what made it such a perfect target. According to cybersecurity firm CloudSEK, Team PCP managed to slip a compromised version of Light LLM onto PyPI, which is the official public repository where developers download open-source Python packages. Now here is the part that should genuinely unsettle you. The poison package was only live for around 40 minutes. 40 minutes. That is barely enough time to finish a coffee. And yet, in that short window, automated software pipelines all over the world, the systems that build and deploy code without a human clicking anything, picked it up and pulled it directly into company environments. This is the double-edged sword of automation. It makes everything faster, but it also means a malicious file does not need hours to spread. It just needs a few unlucky, fully automated systems checking for updates at the wrong moment. Once that tainted package landed inside these environments, it reportedly acted like a digital pickpocket, quietly collecting some of the most sensitive information a company can have. We are talking about cloud credentials for platforms like AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft Azure. SSH keys, Kubernetes tokens, source code access, internal software secrets, and critically, AI API keys, the credentials that let systems talk to AI models on a company's behalf. If you are wondering why that last one matters so much, think about it this way. If someone steals the key to your AI assistant, they are not just stealing data. They could potentially manipulate how that AI behaves, rack up massive usage costs in your name, or use it as a stepping stone into far more sensitive systems. CloudSEK spent months piecing this together, essentially reconstructing who got caught in the blast radius. And the number they landed on is staggering. Over 2,500 organizations. Around 434,000 automated software pipelines linked to the exposure. This is not a small starter problem. CloudSEK's research points to high-confidence matches tied to major global names, including Nvidia, Samsung Electronics, Cisco Systems, Siemens, Deloitte, Vodafone, FedEx, Volkswagen, ZSCL, and even the London Stock Exchange Group. These are not companies with weak security teams. These are some of the most resourced organizations on the planet. Which tells you something important. This was never really about weak defenses. It was about a hidden weak link buried deep inside the supply chain that almost nobody was watching. Now, before this turns into pure panic, it is worth being precise about what CloudSEK is actually claiming. Being listed in this exposure dataset does not automatically mean a company was hacked or that data was stolen. CloudSEK has been clear that a match represents potential exposure, not confirmed compromise. What it does mean is that these organizations had systems that pulled in the compromised package, which created the opportunity for credentials to be harvested. Whether those credentials were actually used maliciously is a separate question, one that each affected company now has to investigate for itself. But here is the detail that security professionals are the most worried about, and it is the part that makes the story bigger than a typical breach headline. Removing the malicious package does not undo the damage. Once a credential has been copied out by an attacker, deleting the bad file from your servers does not invalidate that stolen key. It is like realizing someone photocopied your house key while you were not looking. Throwing away the photocopier does not change the fact that a copy of your key is already out there. Unless organizations actively rotate their credentials, meaning they generate brand new keys and cancel the old ones, those stolen credentials could remain usable for weeks or even months after the original incident. That creates a strange and quiet kind of danger. An attack that technically happened back in March could still be generating consequences well into the second half of this year, or even beyond. This is not just theoretical concern either. The FBI has actually weighed in on this. In July 2026, They issued a flash alert specifically about the group behind this attack, Team PCP, underlining that this is being treated as an active and serious threat, not a closed case. So why does an incident tied to one open source tool matter so much to the average person watching this video, even if you are not a developer? Because it is a preview of where cybersecurity is heading. As more companies race to plug AI into everything, their customer service tools, their internal workflows, their coding pipelines, they are quietly creating new pressure points that did not exist a few years ago. AI systems sit right in the middle of data, identity, and automated action. When a connector like this gets compromised, it is not just a code problem. It becomes an identity and access problem, and potentially a customer data problem too. If an attacker gains access to the credentials behind a customer-facing AI agent, for example, that could open the door to CRM records, service histories, and other personal information used to personalize support. In other words, this is not just an IT department issue.